And then what did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
Do you think it's like defending Caitlyn or defending the team, or how do you view just how it all?
I view it as a flagrant foul.
That's about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, that you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's talk about basketball.
Yeah.
Come on now.
What do you think of just how you all were able to pull in the second half, Caitlyn, in particular?
We're going to the Commissioner Cup Championship.
Let's
That's
go!
pretty exciting. Y'all want to talk about that? Let's talk about that.
What do you think, again, in the second half?
What if we told you Caitlin Clark might walk away from the WNBA after just one season? Sounds wild, right? But the buzz is real between questionable calls from referees and some rough on-court behavior, like Marina Mabrey's hard fouls. Caitlin may be reaching her limit. Instead of living her dream, it's starting to feel more like a frustrating reality show. If there's any truth to the rumor, the WNBA could be losing its biggest star just as fast as a missed whistle. Stay tuned, this could be a game changer.
NBA record. This is her second season. And you put the numbers together, that's like 10 seasons. That girl did it in 10 seasons. That means she had won a season. Caitlin Clark is... when Caitlin Clark gets to 10 seasons, she's going to have 100 of these. And y'all can't get a girl her roses. Now, I don't like the fact that she be getting woke because she don't want all these lesbians to be mad at it. At the end of the day, is the woman putting in the work, she's putting in the work. And
fans have had enough. Once again, Caitlin Clark is being pushed into the spotlight, not as a rising star, but as the target in a league that can't seem to decide if it wants to grow or shut people out. For the second season in a row, she's expected to do it all: lead the team, smile for the cameras, sell tickets, take the hits, and somehow stay gracious through it all, even toward her critics. But this time, fans aren't just annoyed. They're angry. What started as a few online messages to protect Caitlin has turned into something much bigger, almost like a battle over who really cares about her future, the loyal fans or a league that keeps treating her like she's disposable.
This is all going according to plan. This is ideal. Caitlin Clark is holding up her end by being awesome and by being a trash-talking jerk on the court. Love it. Her teammates are holding up their end by having her back. The other players in the league are holding up their end by not liking her. Perfect. Couldn't have written a better script. Caitlin is talking trash to this girl's hard fouling her. Her teammate Sophie Cunningham, who got a black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 6, she's like, I will F you guys up. All of it's great, and Caitlin's a killer. 10 out of 10, no.
Let's be honest, Caitlin Clark is the main reason the WNBA is getting this much attention right now. She's the one driving up TV ratings, breaking jersey sales records, and packing arenas in cities where people barely knew a team existed. She's become the face of the league, the energy and excitement behind its recent rise. And how has the league responded? With questionable calls from referees, a chilly reception from some teammates, and physical play that looks more like wrestling than basketball.
Caitlin Clark is driving the WNBA insane. It's to the point that she may need to step away from the WNBA, have a billionaire come in that has the money to prove a point, and say, Caitlin, I'll pay you $50 million just to see if the WNBA can make it without you. Let's go create a complete different league and expose the hell out of the WNBA just to embarrass this Angel Reese girl that Jameel Hill just said she could go down as a Michael Jordan of WNBA.
Yeah. Remember when people said Caitlin Clark was getting treated like any other rookie? Sure, if being shoved around midcourt while the refs look the other way counts as a warm welcome. At this point, Caitlin doesn't need applause. She needs a bodyguard and probably a chiropractor. Just recently, Marina Mabrey delivered a late-game shove so rough, it looked more like football than basketball. The hit was so intense, you'd think the NBA accidentally offered her a contract, but true to form, Caitlin got right back up. She always does. Getting knocked down seems to have become part of her pre-game routine. Shoot, dodge, repeat. What's really frustrating fans is the double standard. If Caitlin reacts, she's called entitled. If she doesn't, she's cold. If she plays through it, she's accused of not caring enough. Honestly, she could rescue a puppy at halftime and still get blamed for not passing the ball. Meanwhile, fans are working overtime trying to keep the league's reputation afloat, breaking down replays, analyzing every hit, asking over and over, how is that not a flagrant foul?
Well, I will say this. When Caitlin Clark was out, they lost 55% of their viewership. So, basically, Caitlin Clark is paying all their salaries.
Pretty much.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can hate her as much as you want, but she's brought in millions of fucking dollars. So you should be kissing her ass.
And that kind of defeated the purpose of Angel Reese's argument of she's like, hey, it's not just Caitlin Clark that is bringing all the viewership to the WNBA. It's like, well, it definitely is. It's like it kind of proved that with the viewership rating being down that she significantly increases viewership with
They try so hard to compare her to Caitlin Clark. They try so.
At this point, it feels like the WNBA has its priorities backwards. Referees stay quiet during rough play, but the league speaks up when it's about dress codes instead of player safety. No wonder fans aren't just wondering if Caitlin Clark should stay. They're actively urging her to leave. Imagine this. She signs a major shoe deal, heads into broadcasting, or plays overseas, where basketball is about skill, not survival. In Europe, she'd be respected, protected, and probably welcomed with open arms, not flying elbows. Right now, it feels like the WNBA is running on Caitlin Clark's name. She brings the attention, the crowds, the ratings. But what does she get in return? Controversy, rough treatment, and little support. Week after week, it's the same story, and fans notice. So does the media. Even people who claim not to like her still tune in to see her play. Because whether they admit it or not, she's the star. She is the show. The frustrating part? She's done more for the league in 2 seasons than some entire teams have in 20 years. Yet she's treated like an outsider at her own celebration. Even the league's marketing feels off, like they're saying, come watch Caitlin Clark, and a few other players too. It's as if she's Beyoncé, and the rest of the league hasn't figured out who's supposed to sing backup. No disrespect, just the reality fans are seeing more clearly every day.
A fever and sun hold a brawl and a basketball game breaks out. This was something. Caitlin Clark, without question, gets raked across the face. I think she gets poked in the eye, but it's difficult to tell.
If you're the Indiana Fever, you cannot stand by and let that happen. They need to make it clear to the officials. If you're going to let this happen, then we're going to stand up for our player and make a mess of the game, and you're going to have a big mess on your hands. So you need to stand up for this. You need to do something about this.
You just learned with definitive data and beyond question that Caitlin Clark controls more than half the audience for the entire WNBA.
And then there's the gaslighting. She's overreacting. It's not that bad. She needs to earn her stripes. Really? Because by now, Caitlin Clark has earned more stripes than most players ever will. She's averaging 25 points, 8 assists, and, let's be honest, enduring a steady stream of bias and disrespect, all while smiling and showing up game after game. What more is she supposed to do? Walk on water? Fans aren't blind. They see the double standards. They see how the league bends over backward for some players while others, like Caitlin, are left to fend for themselves. They see the carefully crafted narratives, the awkward interviews, the subtle digs, and the behind-the-scenes tension. And they're exhausted. They're tired of watching Caitlin have to fight for space on a team she helped put on the map, tired of seeing her left off all-star rosters like it's some high school popularity contest, tired of pretending this is normal. If Caitlin walks away after the season, it won't be because she couldn't handle it, it'll be because she knew better than to let the system keep using her, and honestly, that might be the smartest move she could make. Because the second she's gone, the league that built its momentum around her name will be left with a lot of empty seats, quiet broadcasts, and casual fans turning their attention elsewhere.
A lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA.
So what happens if Caitlin Clark walks away? Does the league start handing out bobbleheads again? Offer 2-for-1 ticket deals? Paint a few motivational quotes on the court and hope no one notices she's gone? Spoiler: people will notice. The moment Caitlin steps away, the WNBA risks becoming an afterthought again. Remember when story. Hey, whatever happened to that league with that superstar for a season or two? And please, spare us the she should stay and tough it out crowd. She has toughed it out. She's taken the hits, literally and figuratively. She's handled media backlash, overly aggressive opponents, inconsistent refereeing, and teammates who seem more bothered by her success than focused on winning. At some point, this isn't about being tough anymore. It's about having self-respect. What's even more frustrating is the league's failure to embrace the moment. Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation star. She's talented, relatable, marketable, and despite everything, still humble. That's rare. And yet, instead of celebrating her, the league continues to sideline her. No big campaigns. No major endorsement pushes. Just more hard fouls, more cold shoulders, and more missed chances. Fans see it. And they're done staying quiet. They're not just watching the games, they're watching out for her. They're sharing highlights, calling out bias, and defending her like unpaid members of her personal PR team. Because if Caitlin leaves after this season, she won't leave alone. She'll take millions of loyal fans with her, the ones who buy the tickets, stream the games, wear the jerseys, and cheer with everything they've got. And the league? It'll have to face the silence she leaves behind.
I am sick and tired of the way they are treating my girl, Caitlin Clark. I am here to propose a solution. I think they need an enforcer. You know, someone who comes off the bench to kind of lay the smack down on an opposing team member. I want to get the word out to the Indiana Fever that I am available. I'm ready to identify as whatever I need to in order to get the job. They need someone like me. Why? Because I'm not afraid of any 6-foot tall lesbian. I work out. Now, I have a couple of real good go-to moves in my bag of tricks.
If the WNBA wants to keep Caitlin Clark, it's time to start showing it. Because right now, it feels more like they're taking her for granted than building around her. And fans? They've noticed. Many are so frustrated, they're ready to pack her bags, drive her to the airport, and cheer her on as she heads to a place that actually values what she brings to the game. In a league that's been fighting for attention, Caitlin Clark was the breakthrough. She brought in new fans, sold out arenas, and made headlines. But if all she gets in return is disrespect and drama, no one should be surprised if she decides she's done. And just when it seems like the situation couldn't get more out of touch, here comes the national media, specifically ESPN, with the latest twist. Somehow, they're making Caitlin the villain in her own story, after being shoved during a game by Marina Mabrey, a move that clearly crossed the line. Commentators bent over backwards to explain why it was somehow her fault. The reason? Because she talks trash. Because she celebrates big shots. As if confidence in a professional sport is an invitation to be knocked down. Let's be clear, Caitlin didn't retaliate. She didn't throw a punch. She didn't even flinch. She stayed focused and kept playing, with the same calm and professionalism she always brings. That should have been the story. Instead, we get commentary that blames her for being targeted, because she smiled after a three-pointer. Because she dares to compete. Fans are watching, and they're not buying it. They know what they're seeing, a league and a media machine struggling to handle the success of a player who's doing everything right.
Well, they get into it a bit here. Lexi Hall now gets it. Shane and Cunningham are getting it. For the viewers and Jason Shot.
Here's a wild idea. Maybe, just maybe, talking a little trash is part of sports. This isn't Sunday brunch. It's professional competition. And anyone who's ever played the game knows that a little back and forth isn't just expected, it's normal. Michael Jordan did it. Kobe Bryant thrived on it. Larry Bird practically made it an art form. But when Caitlin Clark shows the same edge, suddenly, it's treated like a reason to hit her, not defend her. Let's be honest, the recent shove she took wasn't basketball, it was a cheap shot. And even some of her opponents have said as much. These aren't fans or teammates. They're players who've gone head-to-head with her, and even they understand the difference between tough defense and crossing the line. Yet somehow, many of the loudest voices in the media, the ones paid to analyze the game, seem more interested in blaming Caitlin than in calling out what actually happened. Because if she had pushed back, if she had so much as flinched in return, the headlines would have written themselves, "Out of control rookie snaps." It would have been everywhere, sports shows, news reports, maybe even a dramatic reenactment on TV, but she didn't. She held her ground. She stayed focused. She kept it professional, and still, she's being criticized, just for being there. Just for being confident. It's like blaming a mailbox for being hit by a reckless driver. Well, it was standing a little too proudly on the curb. Come on. Caitlin Clark didn't break the rules. She played the game. And she deserves better than this constant effort to make her the problem when she's doing everything right.
Caitlin Clark has decided to quit the WNBA and move on and go play over in Europe. I do not blame her. I applaud it. I say do it. Get as far away from the WNBA as you can. Let that league sink. Okay? Do not help them, Caitlin. Get away. I believe you could create your own league. Okay? You could be the fucking player that creates whatever, the next professional women's basketball league. Let this one just go and let Caitlin try to build the next WNBA.
I don't know what kind of mental gymnastics people are doing these days, but they'd probably win Olympic gold. Caitlin Clark? Too confident, they say. Plays with too much attitude? Yeah, so does every top athlete in history. That's what makes them great, but Caitlin's confidence? Somehow it's a problem. In this strange version of WNBA rules, she's supposed to take the hits, take the blame, and keep quiet, all at the same time. What's amazing is how quickly the blame always seems to fall on her, like there's some invisible committee rewriting the story. Marina Mabrey delivers a full-body shove. Caitlin stays calm. And somehow, she becomes the villain. What's next? Someone elbows her in the face, and ESPN runs a story asking, did Caitlin lean into it?
I get your opinion because it's been a minute on this Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark stuff that's been going on. Brittany Griner a couple of weeks ago in a video says trash effing white girl when she was playing Caitlin Clark. What's your just kind of 30,000 foot view of this?
There is not an organization more dedicated and committed to self-imploding than the WNBA. The WNBA was like handed the golden egg that is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
And they have done everything to just self-destruct.
Yeah.
Whether it's these totally crazy, like, racial investigations that have been proven a hoax,